This is my second video for YouTube. I promised to keep it shorter than last time. Last time it was about an hour. Let's try and stay under 30 minutes this time. Basically for today's video I have two topics. The first one would be to present my first course that is already on Udemy and Patreon, which is called The Finance for Non-Finance. And the second topic of today would be to talk a little bit, so it's just a rant or a roast, or call it as you want, about Tesla, the company Tesla, and their products, of course. Now, I take the feedback from you very seriously. First, I was told that I should look more into the camera. I changed the position of the camera. Unfortunately, they don't manufacture computer screens that have cameras in the middle of them, so the camera is a little bit above the computer screen, and I hope it will be better this time. I will try to look more into the camera and give you the feeling that I'm talking to you, since some might say that I was not really talking to you in the first video. The second suggestion that I got was to have books behind me, which makes total sense. I mean, this is a finance and accounting education channel, so education. Books behind me look very good. Now I got the Kindle. So this is my Kindle. I'm trying to somehow place it behind me. I don't know how to do that exactly. Maybe I should like hang it somewhere here in the back. And yeah, I'm open to further suggestions how to place the books behind me. Now, moving to the first topic, the Finance for Non-Finance course. It's a short introduction to made for the people that didn't work in accounting or had little to no contact with finance and accounting, and it's helping them understand the activities in this department, the academic field of study of accounting and finance, and such topics. The first point is what is accounting and finance, so basically a definition. What is accounting and finance as an academic field of study, as a department, what are the people in this department doing. Then we move into the origins of accounting, so where did it was first time mentioned, by whom, and why, and so on. Then we have the principles. The accountants look like not a group of people that are not very flexible, that is, because we have these principles which we need to stick to. And then I'm presenting you the types of reports, so basically that are the most important and used in the accounting, basically the balance sheet or the state of financial position, more modern approach, the P&L or the statement of comprehensive income, and the cash flow, of course. Then we talk a little bit about the statutory or financial accounting and performance management accounting or performance accounting. And we talk about the similarities and the differences between those two components of finance and accounting department. Then we pinpoint a few concepts, so basically two concepts, which are accruals and provisions. Why? Because it's very simple. Basically, if you work in marketing or in sales or in a different department, from time to time people from accounting will come to you and ask you for things, usually numbers that are strange to ask, and you will say like, yeah, but I don't have the invoice yet, and I cannot give you the invoice, and things like this. And pinpointing the accruals and provisions will explain to you as a non-finance and accounting professional why is that important. Then we talk about KPIs, basically 4 groups of KPIs based on calculated based on what I had previously mentioned: balance scorecard, cash flow, and P&L, but also on market indicators, so share market indicators. Basically, we have profitability KPIs, we have gearing KPIs, we have liquidity KPIs, and we also have the investors KPIs or the share market KPIs. Then I have made a nice bundle of concepts, so this is building on my personal experience. Concepts from finance and accounting that are very hard to understand by non-finance personnel. So it's not only that they maybe don't know the concepts, but even after you explain them, they are still very difficult to grasp. I hope I'm doing a better job in this presentation, and they will not remain as blank spots after you read this or you see the presentation. Then we talk about the CFO role. What is a CFO doing in a company? Basically, his role, the CFO is the Chief Financial Officer. He's the head of finance and accounting. And basically, his role is being, of course, embedded also in the departments he's coordinating. Then we talk about the typical finance department structure. So accounting and finance department. There are differences exactly how is it named, but the idea is the same. So what is the typical structure? What kind of people work there and what they are doing? And then I left at the end a topic which could have easily come also at the beginning. I hope you will have fun. It's very simple. It's a list of possible reasons why lucrative business exists. You can select from there one or more options. You can go beyond the list. The idea would be to try to pick up one point or more points and to explain why you think those are the reasons why a lucrative business exists. That being said, with the presentation for the finance and finance for non-finance personnel, we are moving now to the rant about Tesla. So the first thing I want to talk about Tesla is that the company was grounded in 2003. Elon Musk is the CEO of the company since 2008, so there are already 13 years. Now, comparison with Apple and iPhone. What they both wanted to do as companies and products, with their products, they tried to have a strategy to disrupt the market. It's very easy. For Apple came with the iPhone. They looked first in the environment. They saw what's going on, and they said, okay, we are no longer going to do it like this or like this, buttons, small screens, and so on. We are going to do phones like this. The same with Tesla. Tesla looked in the market, cars, polluting, CO2, diesel. They said, okay, let's make an electrical car because that is the future. They are polluting less. So what they tried to come up is with the product and the strategy to completely change the market. Apple with iPhone had a lot of success, Tesla not that much, or not yet. Then another similarity is the herd effect, that they are both basics. So what that means is that, and I talked in the previous presentation about this IQ distribution, is that they know very well the human psychology and the level of the intellectual level of people, and they know that 85% of the people are not that bright, and they are using this in their communication, in their marketing, and in their every decision. And that's basically it with the similarities between the two companies. Now we come to the differences. One major difference is that Apple already had a brand and the customer base. It was already known. They were producing computers, desktop computers, notebooks, other electronic devices, and so on. Tesla kind of started from the ground, yeah. So they didn't have a base of consumers that know their brand, their quality, and so on. Then another difference is in the pricing. While iPhone was, let's say, a few €100 or dollars more expensive than the phones of the other manufacturers, so in absolute amount it was not that much. The Tesla came with cars that were very expensive compared to what the average consumer is buying. The average consumer is buying cars between, let's say, 10, 15, maybe 20,000 euros or dollars. At the beginning, the Tesla cars were very expensive, plus 100,000. Now I understand that they dropped the prices. They are somewhere in the range of 40, 50. In March 2021, so in the middle of March, they announced already that they will have the prices increased again for the more cheaper models. Basically, it's very difficult to digest spending 80,000 or 20 or 30,000 more for a car. It's easier to digest spending a few €100 for a premium product of Apple, so the iPhone. Another major difference is that the phones from Apple, so this is not an iPhone, but the phones for Apple complement extra functions. If on the old phones what we were basically doing was like write SMSs, so short messages, and phone, the new phones came with a lot of new functions. Nowadays you can see movies on them, you can take pictures, you can do movies with yourself, you can browse the internet, you can play games. It's a multitude of new functions that were perfectly supported by a different format and by a different product. Tesla, on the other hand, it's still a car that takes you from point A to B. An additional function that was added, let's say, but it's also secondary and it produced already, or it might be because of that function that a car accident was produced, was this auto driving. So that the car needs no driver, although they recommend that the driver stays behind the wheel. And another major difference is the market positioning. Apple was always perceived as a premium company, so the consumers are proud to own that, and they see it as the best product that there is in the electronics, in the be it computer, notebook, tablet, whatever. While for them it was clear why they are charging more money, while than the other producers of mobile phones. While with the Tesla is not really that clear. Are they really premium products? Okay, if you own a Ferrari, for example, which is up from $200,000 or euros, maybe you see that this new gadget, this new electrical car comes and you can buy one of them. But the question is, if you own the $50,000 or euro car, which is already in the premium segment, it's not super premium, but it's premium already segment, are you willing to pay double, at least in the beginning, or at par price for a Tesla, not knowing if it's really a premium product, and you are comparing this most likely with the German manufactured car, which is in this premium segment, and you are wondering if that's really a premium product. Now let's take a look into the financials. In 2020, I'm comparing Toyota on the left side, Tesla on the right side. The revenue of Toyota, 29.9 trillions, that is 29,900 billions. Tesla, 31.5 billions. The net income of Toyota was in the same time, so in 2020 for the full year, 2.1 trillions. Tesla only 690 millions. The profit margin of Toyota is 6.94%, so almost 7%. The profit margin of Tesla only 2.19%. The market capitalization, that means the total value of the shares on the market, is around 210 billions. So approximately 210 billions for Tesla and 639 billions so 210 billions for Toyota and 639 billions for Tesla. I'm saying approximate because, as we know, the share price for each company is it's fluctuating, so it's very difficult to pinpoint an exact value. So basically, what we have is a revenue that is 949 times higher for Toyota than for Tesla, a net income that is 3,043 times higher for Toyota than Tesla, and the market capitalization is 3 times bigger for Tesla than for Toyota. Now the question is, what's going on? Are the investors for Toyota really that crazy? Well, those are the financials, but their decision is also, so the price of the shares is not always driven by objective financials. It's based also on expectations, and so it's the law of demand and supply. and it's just a hype, in my opinion. So the people are crazed about owning Tesla shares, and that's and more people invested in that, expecting maybe future profits, future large market share for Tesla than it has now, and so on and so forth. Now, for first quarter of 2021, now talking only about Tesla, they have had a revenue of 10.5 billions and a net income of 438 millions. So we talked about 2020. Let's take a closer look at the first quarter 2021. Out of these 438 millions net income, the Bitcoin, so selling Bitcoins that they previously purchased, they made 101 millions. I'm making a joke. I think Tesla is a bubble, and they invested in another bubble, which is Bitcoin. Maybe in a future presentation we will talk also about Bitcoin. And I made this joke that I asked, how do you call a bubble who's investing in another bubble? It's simple, you call it a phone. Besides Bitcoin, they made 518 millions from CO2 certificates, basically because the cars are not polluting. They receive money from the state, to put it that simple. But that is not a specific advantage for Tesla, because any manufacturer that's producing hybrids or electrical cars will get these subsidies, subsidies money from the state. And from the secondary activity of car manufacturing, Tesla got a loss of 181 millions. So the financials, the fundamentals don't look very good for Tesla. I'm sorry, and that's why I didn't bought shares in the past. And looking at these fundamentals after 13 years of Elon Musk and the prospects and what I think will go, what the things will go on in the future on this market, I don't trust this company, and I will never invest, probably, unless something special happens, and I don't see what exactly now. Then the one time I agreed with Elon Musk, it's one of the very rare occasions, was on 1st of May 2020, when he twittered, the Tesla stock price is too high, in my opinion. I understood he got fined for market manipulation, because after this tweet the price of Tesla shares dropped. And I think that he actually had a revelation. He was a little bit enlightened, and he actually understood that it's too much and he cannot control it, and he was a little bit, maybe also a little bit scared about what's going on, because he knows that he might be unable to deliver in the future. Then another actually this is a tweets exchange, very hilarious, was between Bernie Sanders and Elon Musk. Basically, Bernie Sanders, for those of you that don't know, it's a Democrat politician from United States. He is, or many people call him, a communist. From my point of view, he can be a communist. I come from Romania. We have lived communism. It's not a very good idea to have it widespread within the society. But Bernie Sanders said the following: we are in a moment in American history where two guys, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon, so one of the owners of Amazon, big owners, own more wealth than the bottom 30% of people in this country, in the United States. The level of greed and inequality is not only immoral, it's unsustainable. Now, the problem that Bernie Sanders has is that he doesn't understand anything. He doesn't understand how the things work. These guys, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, didn't do anything special, except that they have built companies that are very attractive for investors. They proved resilient, let's say Amazon more than Tesla during the pandemic. And the people, so a lot of people want to buy shares in these companies. And that's why the share prices have grown, and that's why they are so rich. But there are limitations, because they cannot sell the shares. They cannot sell all the shares, and not very fast. They have to notify the Security Exchange Commission. If they do that, it will become public. The investors will see that if they sell too much of their shares, will think that they don't trust their own businesses. So let's say that they don't have access to a majority of their so-called wealth. If you are to be a communist and a smart one, with this tweet Bernie proved that he's not very smart, you look into other dimensions. So for CEOs, in this case, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, I think Jeff Bezos retired already, but you look into what kind of salaries they are getting, what kind of bonuses and premiums, what kind of dividends they are getting, if you want to see if they are well taxed, if they use fiscal paradise for getting that money or not, and all kinds of sorts that have actually to do with their decisions and their actions. On the other hand, you can look at the employees. Of course, if you are trying to support these 40% of people that are very poor in your country, you look at the employees and you see if they are paid below average, if they have a lot of overtime that it's not paid, if they have very bad working conditions. Although from articles that I read in the past, I understood that at least Tesla, the working conditions were very bad because they had a lot of accidents, and that the employees are also not very well paid, which is for any decent investor should be an alarm bell, because a company that pays its employees very bad and still doesn't make profit, it's not a very good idea on the long term. And to this tweet from Bernie Sanders, Elon Musk replied, "I am accumulating resources to help make life multiplanetary and extend the light of consciousness to the stars." How cool is that? Imagine having a debate between these two people in which they are debating their ideas in I don't know, in national television or wherever. It would be so hilarious. On one hand, Bernie Sanders doesn't understand a thing about anything, and on the other hand, Elon Musk is living, I would say, not in the clouds, but already somewhere on Mars. I'm coming back a little bit again to this IQ distribution chart with the market, because I mentioned that both Apple with their iPhones and Tesla with their cars had this similarity that they were basing each other on the herd effect, and basically it's a hype, and the more people are buying these products, the more want to be like them, and they are buying, and so on. It worked for Apple with the iPhone. It worked in the consumer market, so in the products. It worked also in the share market, so on the stock exchange. For Tesla, unfortunately, it worked very well only in the share market, not that much for the reasons that I have already presented on the consumer market. Now my conclusions on this, the guy Elon Musk, so it's calling himself Imperator of Mars. That's okay, he's very rich, he can be a little bit eccentric, he can be even a little bit crazy, I have nothing against it. I'm just thankful that he doesn't want to save our planet. I mean, we already have one billionaire, which is Bill Gates, that is trying to save our planet, and he thinks that he can influence the climate change. And I was thinking that if Bill Gates would have lived thousands of years ago when we had the Ice Age, maybe instead of advising people to eat less cow meat like he's doing today, back then he would advise the people to eat more mammoth meat. And instead of using, let's say, electrical cars, he would advise people to use cars that are consuming more fossil gas and so on, in order to maybe increase the temperature of the Earth a little bit during the Ice Age and to save the planet from something. I don't know exactly from what. But coming back to Elon Musk, he's calling himself Techno King, and his CFO is a coin master. I doubt that somebody who's investing in Bitcoin is a coin master, but It's okay. It's also okay if they call themselves like that. Between them, friends, internal documents in the company, it's okay. My personal problem is that they call themselves like that in official Security Exchange Commission documents, which I think is shedding a doubt about their, let's say, way of seeing and thinking in the world we are all living. Now, many people say that Elon Musk is a tech genius. Let's face it, he's not. It's very simple. He started with PayPal, he sold that and he gained a lot of money, although it's a fintech PayPal, it fits the classical definition of a financial technology company. It contains the word technology, but let's face it, it's more internet. It's more finance, so the payment system. And he didn't invented the internet, he just based his payment service on the internet. So I don't see the tech part of this. Now this is what I'm thinking, that most of us are lacking that spark, that how do you do your first 1 million, 10, 100 millions, 1 billion. Personally, I have invested in March 2020 in shares. Their price of several companies, of 5 companies, their price is cumulatively now with 70% more than it was before. Imagine if I would have had 1 billion to invest, I would have made a pre-tax gain of 700 millions. By now, my problem in this scheme is not that I don't know how to identify opportunities or how to invest or what to do exactly. My problem is that I don't have that 1 billion. So for most of us, the problem is having that spark, that luck, that moment when you make the leap from not having that much to having a lot. Now, why he's not a tech genius? Because I have my personal doubts that he couldn't, because he's a CEO, he needs to manage the companies. I don't think that he's designing himself, he's not the chief designer or engineer or tech guru behind the cars, satellites. He's even doing solar panels. I saw spaceships in the meantime. So I think he's using a lot of, that's his job as a CEO, to have in his team a lot of smart people that are designing that. And being a manager of tech geniuses doesn't make you a tech genius. Now we talked a lot about his minuses. Of course, the guy is very rich, so he must be doing also some good things in a way. And I personally identified 2 qualities. First of all, he's a classical type of entrepreneur. Basically, he sees a lot of opportunities around him and he's just sizing them. Yeah. So these payments over the internet, the electrical cars, satellites, everywhere he's seeing opportunities and he's sizing this. But this is, in my opinion, like only 1% of his positives, and his 99% is the psychology, that he understood the people and he knows how to communicate and to create this hype. And I have said that now I'm quite sure that when he announced Tesla buying bitcoins, that Tesla bought the bitcoins before he made the announcement, the price rised, and then he sold a part of the bitcoins. If he wants to sell more, he will probably first announce that he wants to buy and then sell them, because the prices will rise based on the hype that is creating in the market. And when he's saying that he wants to buy Bitcoin, for example, everybody will rush into buying that. And in the meantime, maybe he's selling them and making a lot of profit. Another interesting thing which is coming from this guy is this Starlink SpaceX. Maybe SpaceX with the space shuttles is not that interesting, but as proposition for the future, as when he will do IPOs for these companies, I will be interested in looking more into that in them and maybe investing, unlike Tesla. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my rant about Tesla and the presentation of my Finance for Non-Finance course. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to presenting to you in the next presentation. Thank you very much.